waging war on corruption, crashing through lies and disinformation. Thank you for joining us. We're now 8 minutes into the second hour today. I'm going to get into raw story. Study, attack on Iran would be start of long war. Oxford Research Group concludes Israeli attack on Iran would be start of long war. That's also Zero Hedge. U.S. paid Iranian nuclear scientists $5 million for aid to CIA, officials said. Washington Time. That's just some of what is coming up. Also, cap and trade bill will be added to the Senate climate change bill, so they're moving ahead with that. They're on the verge of passing a Federal Reserve takeover of the United States that dwarfs the beachhead they got in 1913, 97 years ago. Justice Department says they're not going to sue the 800-plus sanctuary cities where illegal aliens are above the law. That's okay that they won't work with the feds because the feds don't want them to, but they are going to continue suing Arizona. Also, BP's reporting that they've fixed the leak. Let me cover that now, then we're going to Paul Watson. BP leak fixed. USA Today reports Gulf well test to begin soon. They claim that oil is now stopped. Now, they've said this 3 times that I can remember. You probably remember more. BP plans to move forward soon on a critical and repeatedly delayed test of its Gulf well after fixing a leak on the new cap designed to contain the gushing oil. So I guess they're spinning it. It's not a complete cap. We sure wish that would be the case. The test of the well's pressure could begin later in the day. BP Senior Vice President Kent Wells told reporters Thursday during a morning technical briefing. We're going to keep moving forward with this, Wells said, adding that the leak came as a surprise. We are always prepared for it, but I would say we didn't expect it. So we'll see if that really is a capping of it or just more spin. In fact, guys, will you pull up the live webcam of it and see if it's leaking? I mean, they've lied so many times. Who even knows what that means? Also on the BP oil leak situation, what is it, day 85, 86 now? Government expert witnessed over 42 million gallons, not 1.5 million, but 42 million gallons of dispersant used during BP oil disaster, much more toxic than the crude oil itself. But for the balance of the hour, Paul Joseph Watson, who, of course, works with the Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com team. He is the editor of PrisonPlanet.com, my second largest site. Of course, Infowars.com is the main flagship, and the sites continue to reach more and more people every day because of all of you spreading the word about the important news and analysis posted and linked there on the sites each and every day. I wanted to go over this with Watson. America stands on the precipice of total collapse, his latest article, and has a key video posted at the bottom of it titled, Road Warrior Level Collapse Imminent if we don't take corrective action now, as they announce laying off government people at the state and local level, laying off more than half of major police departments and sheriff's departments, police not responding to major crime, the feds blocking any type of rescue of Arizona. That is all coming up. Mass foreclosures this year expected to eclipse 2009 levels. World at risk of folding in on itself, CNBC reports. So that's just some of what we're going to be discussing. And then also this Financial Times of London article from 2 days ago. We can't stress how important this is. Obama faces growing credibility crisis. And it goes on to say the bottom line here, Robert Shapiro, top Clinton advisor, said, is that Americans don't believe in President Obama's leadership, says Robert Shapiro. He says he has to find some way between now and November of demonstrating that he is a leader who can command confidence. Short of a 9/11 event or Oklahoma City bombing, I can't think of how he could do just that. And Watson wrote a detailed article breaking down all the past statements of people in government talking about how they want more giant terror attacks. They have the motive for it. And then you go research each event, they're behind it. But going to Paul Watson now. Paul, you want to get into the economic collapse first and the fact that they're now admitting depression and what we do about that? Or do you want to get into the top Clinton official, only a terror attack and save Obama?
Hello, Alex. Good to be back. Yeah, I think if we get into the economic collapse information first, I mean, they both kind of tie into each other, but it's not just Alex Jones or me or, you know, Salente or Peter Schiff saying this, that there will be a collapse within the next 2 years. it's the insiders themselves. It's the elitists. It's
that's the Forbes
like
headline, time to get out of the dollar. Just like they signaled time to implode the housing market when they had built the bubble, saying it would never end. I saw them signaling that in 2007 into 8, and I warned people. Now they're signaling again.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not just coming from us. It's coming from people like Niall Ferguson, who is, the big Harvard history professor, economics professor. And he's a member of both the Bilderberg Group. He went to the last 2 meetings, and also the Aspen Institute.
And he's saying the biggest collapse, since 1730?
Basically, yeah. He's saying a sudden and total collapse within 2 years. He said it's going to be rapid. It's going to happen quickly. It's not going to linger on. And that it's going to be a Greek-style meltdown, but on a much bigger scale because, of course, America stands to lose much more than Greece because many more people are going to be caught up in this kind of chaos.
And the Chinese have now downgraded European and U.S. T-bills.
Yeah, it's all coming to a head now. We're being told that, we've got to accept this age of austerity. The financial terrorists that caused the collapse, that stole trillions of dollars that were given to them by our governments, now saying that, we're going to have to make up the shortfall by sacrificing public services, paying more taxes. Our incomes are going to be capped. VAT in the UK is going to go up to 20%. From January 2011. That's the sales tax. You pay 20% tax on most purchases. Obama and Volcker have said that a sales tax, a VAT tax for America, is still on the table.
And raise the Social Security retirement age to 70 and take part of people's pension funds, bare minimum. It's all being announced.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the age of austerity is. But the thing that galls me about it is the fact that last time this happened, certainly in Britain, was in the late 70s when we had the 3-day week, which was followed by these austerity measures. The 3-day week came as a result of miners going on strike, and we had to conserve electricity. So the working week was shortened to 3 days, and this is exactly what's coming in again with this post-industrial revolution, this green economy. But in the 70s, which is, people are saying that this economic meltdown's worse than it was in the 70s now. But we had these austerity measures very similar to what's coming in now. And public spending was cut by a mere 4%. And as a result of that 4% cut in public services in Britain at the time, basically there were widespread strikes, there were riots, there were bodies left unburied, and at the time the German Chancellor said that as a result of this, quote, Britain was no longer a developed country. That all came as a result of 4% cut in public spending. So now they're saying that it's going to be 20% plus cuts in public spending. So what we're going to experience in the next few years is going to be 4 times worse than anything that happened in the 70s.
And to be clear, when they talk about 20% cuts in public spending, they're going to increase taxes, so there'll be more money overall, but it's all going to go to the offshore banks. And the increased taxes will destroy what's left of the real economy. We were told in the 90s NAFTA and GATT would be Valhalla, but internally the UN and others said it was designed to deindustrialize us and then to rise up China as the new global system. And now we see the Council on Foreign Relations and the New York Times and others saying China will save us. China is the new model. Meanwhile, they're announcing in China, in the Associated Press, as if it's a good thing, that they lock everyone down at night inside their homes, and you're not allowed out on the streets at night. So this is the globalist model, total control.
Yeah, and that's what Joe Lieberman wants the internet to be like, the Chinese internet as well. So China's the model for what they're moving towards, and part of it's going to come with this austerity fascism. I wrote an article last month called Austerity Fascism is Coming and It Will Be Brutal, and I go through all the measures that they will introduce to move towards these austerity measures and these public cuts, income tax raises, caps on income. And to think that people basically a lot of them nearly went over the edge as a result of 4% cuts, and now they're talking about 20 plus. People's survival mechanisms are basically going to be on a hair trigger.
And that's why we go back to the 2007 British Ministry of Defense report, where they said by 2012, total collapse in martial law, because this is being orchestrated.
Yeah, and people aren't used to it. You know, people go along in their lives worshipping LeBron James and everyone, and they think that the world around them is just going to stay the same forever if they're not involved in it and if they just stick their head in the ground. But once these austerity measures start to impact them directly, you know, and their pay gets capped, they lose their jobs, their welfare gets cut in half, then we're certainly going to see, you know, how thin the veneer of civilization is, because these people are not going to like what's happening to them, and it's partly their own fault.